All right, so I am working on a style for my hair. My natural curl pattern has not returned. This is my hair prior to being washed, but this is with no heat. This is after I washed my hair. It has conditioner in it, but I see my pattern trying to come back right here. I guess it's still very stringy looking. I don't know if it's damaged or not, but look at the ends right here. You see they're still very much straight. Yeah. This is once I washed it, conditioned it. It's pretty much air drying here, which my hair used to never be able to just air dry with a, yeah. So this is actually with no heat, just sitting me, just nothing. And look how straight it is. So I'm about to attempt to do a style. Initially, I was only going to use this hair for the braid because it is so straight and I wanted to have some texture. But I wound up braiding my hair and I jacked the braids up as usual. So then I had to pivot and figure out what to do next. At this point, I really had no idea what direction I was going in. So I just had to really get creative. I did complete the braids and I was not about to start over. So I pulled them up in a ponytail and decided to figure out what to do next with them. I did have my hair pulled back in a ball in the back, and I think that's when something kind of came to me to try to do with the canker hair that I had that I was just going to do the braids with. All right, so this is when I actually had the genius idea to use the canker for the entire style versus using the other packs of crochet hair that I had. So I started with the crochet canker in the front, and instead of me taking both strands through, I only took one strand through, which I rarely do that because sometimes for me they're kind of hard to get off, and I don't like to put strand on my hair. And then I twisted it. So as I was twisting, I was thinking, am I going to do this to my whole head? And realizing that I only had a pack and a half of hair. But as you can see, this hair is fairly thick. So I felt like I could use what I had to get the style that I was envisioning. Or somewhat envisioning, because at this point I'm still trying to figure it out. And usually, honestly, when I'm doing my hair, if I have an idea and I get started and it doesn't go the way that I envision it, I just keep going and make it up as I go. At the end of the day, I'll wear it for a week. If I don't like it, I'll take it down. But if not, I'll rock it for about 2 weeks. All right, this was once I had crocheted the canker hair across my edges. Really, that's really what I did. I did not put it all the way through on the braid because, as you can see, it's fairly thick, and this actually is a lot of hair. But I had not yet twisted. So as you can see, I only put it around my edges, and that's really all I did, except for the ones where the part is gonna be. The hair is fairly thick, fairly coarse. I really like to use this hair when I have my natural style because it blended really well with whatever style I chose to use. So now here you can see I have braided, twisted up not twisted, I have put the hair in place where I want it to go. The next step is going to be for me to twist it up. And as you can see, I have not put any more hair on the braids, just still around the edges, like I said before. So now we are going to work on the ponytail because I don't want the hair all throughout. So I only did it around my edges and along the braid where the part was going to show. And now I'm going to create a ponytail for a ball in the back. I'm going to use a, not a rubber band, but elastic band to create a ponytail. Simple, nothing hard to do. Once I pull that through, it's going to give me a ponytail with a way for me to put it on my ball. So this little ball, this little section here is going to go around my ball in the back, and it's going to hang, and eventually I will probably twist it up as well. So now I'm trying to figure out how to position the hair so that my braids don't show. And I think at this point I realize I may need to add some hair, but this is after I twisted it. I think during this section I'm trying to figure out how to position the twist, because again, the braids are going to show if I don't position it correctly. I had that one braid in the front because I thought I wanted to swoop it and kind of cover up some of this forehead, because I like to swoop sometimes. And so now I'm just really trying to pull the hair back in a manner that is going to hide the braids. Nothing very detailed, nothing specific, just the attempt to cover the braids. I think I would have probably twisted the hair a little bit tighter at the root, so that when I pull it, it wouldn't be so fat, and it would have a little bit more definition in the twist. But I can always go back and do that. It's not too late. But at this point, I'm just trying to get through the style because I'm pivoting and figuring out as I go. So I just want to see how everything is going to come together. So this is me pulling this section back onto my ponytail and just trying to figure it out. Again, this style is not complicated. As you can see, my braids were jacked up. There was no, specific correct order to do them in. I just knew I wanted to cover my braids, and that's what I'm trying to do. This is not the original style that I wanted, but I am pivoting, which I have learned to do, and I always do. I'm not going to stress over it. We're going to keep it moving. When you do these hairstyles, you do want to think, how versatile is it? I'm a crochet girl that I don't like to knot my crochets because I don't have them in that long. And here I'm using the hairpins to try to pin the hair in place, or the bobby pins. I don't want it to be just huge and puffy. I like the bobby pins with the balls on the end because the other ones tend to poke and they can hurt and they can actually cause sores. So if you get bobby pins or hairpins, please try to get the ones with the little rubber balls on the tips, because I think they're better for your scalp. That's just my opinion. I'm not a professional. So as I continue to try to pin the hair in place before I move to the next step, you can kind of see how it's kind of coming into place. I decided I wanted to try to have some of the parts showing to give it more of a braided look, less than a wig look, if that makes sense. I think this is when I realized I had what I wanted to do with this front braid. I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do because it was too fat. So I decided to tuck it in place and try to hide. Well, this was before I made the decision, but you will see why. It's just too much. Now I could go back and retwist these and twist them tighter, but I'm not sure they would cover all of the braids. And so the goal was to cover the braids. So if you like this so far, or if this is something you may want to try, leave me a comment. So right here, I think I'm listening to some music, which is why I'm doing a voiceover, because I had music playing in the background and I didn't want to get my video flagged by, copyright infringements and all that. I think right here I realized this braid might have been too fat. So I had to try to move it around, which I think I eventually retwisted this one. So as I'm working through this style, if you see the back, the ponytail in the back, it's like different lengths. That's because the twist I pull back into a ponytail. But once I put that ponytail that we created with the other hair on, it'll pull together and make a little bit more sense. I wish I could fast forward this part. This is me just trying to figure out where I wanted to place the hair. I don't know how to fast forward, so I'm still putting pins in, trying to get everything down. Right here I realized there was a gap, which I did not like, so I came up with an idea to try to fill that in. However, I have this hair that I want to put on the ball, so I'm not. And right here, I'm trying to see if I could just put the hair that's already back there in the ball. I probably could have, but I mean, you could have actually, I literally could have actually left it like this. But right here, there's some extra space because my braid pattern was jacked up, so it's almost like in a diagonal pattern, and it left a lot of flat space right there, which is why that gap is there. So I actually came back in, took some hair from another section, and filled that space in. So once I fill that space in, then I think, see right now I'm looking this trying to figure out how to fill the space in. So once I fill the space in, then I actually took a piece of hair and just crocheted it onto my hair. So if you can see, it's not on a braid, it's just on my hair. So I have to be mindful when I'm pulling it in a ponytail that that's not a braid, that is my actual hair. And sometimes that can be a little bit challenging to get off when you get ready to take your hair down. Another thing that you could have done was the front and pull your hair in a ponytail and just crochet around the ponytail on your hair and pull it back up in a ball. Maybe I'll do that next time. But for right now, this is where we're going with this canker line hair. You don't have to put like rubber bands and things like that on it, because it pretty much will twist up on itself because of the texture. So here I'm finished with the front, and now going to try to get the back done. Finish the back. I almost left it like that, but as you can see, you could, but you can see my ball back there, so I have to make sure that I cover that up. But did you really see the ball? Because it was almost a little camouflaged. I'm just saying. So now, since I